Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. After multiple franchises in some intense moments, I'll say it: the Real Housewives needs to end. We, as reality television consumers, have astronomically high expectations. We have been spoiled with such exceptional series that when they don't feel like they're reaching the point of their heyday, we feel let down. Such is the case for the Real Housewives. The early seasons of the OG franchises have an important place in reality television. If you refer to a table flip, or Scary Island, or that cat meme, it's because of the impact the Bravo shows have had on pop culture. One reason they had such longevity is because of the ability to swap cast members in and out. The show would constantly shift as new friendships and rivalries emerged, and for a long period of time we've used it as a band-aid. When we didn't like a cast or recognized a show was falling off a cliff, when certain cast members refused to film together, we'd beg Andy Cohen and Bravo for a reboot or recast. And now, it seems the call for change occurs after every season now. It's a dark timeline for the Real Housewives cinematic universe, as we learn that there may be an expiration date for these franchises. Since 2006, the Real Housewives has changed the face of reality television. As each new addition joined the family, they simply took off. They had a similar formula but showcased a different region of the country, and thus different stories. Some of the series were groundbreaking for the women they featured, such as the Real Housewives of Atlanta, or for their pop culture impact, like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Others just couldn't find their footing, like the Real Housewives of DC, but in the end, the demand for more has always been at the top of Bravo's priority list. Unlike a fine wine, the Real Housewives doesn't age beautifully, and that's partially our fault. Unless you're a flat-out cancellation, fans demand a reset when they believe their favorite series aren't working. But when you do it so often, is it really helping or hurting? Cast swaps help with longevity, but is there actually a sell-by date on the Real Housewives? The shows have shifted from their original mission statement to prioritize highlighting drama at every turn, rather than showcasing the average wife and mother. You know, the reality television tropes. We don't want to see the shows go away, but have certain franchises reach the end of their rope. Perhaps the biggest sign that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is in trouble was the addition of Rachel Zoe as a diamond holder. Her casting is a major move for Bravo as it marks her triumphant return to reality television, but to drop her into the turmoil currently embroiling the women of 90,210 seems like a last-ditch method to fix the bigger problems the series is facing. If you have Rachel Zoe to distract, then you don't have to force Kyle Richards to talk about her personal life. It all seems calculated, which is ironic. That's how certain storylines have played out. The Real Housewives of New York City has always been a top-tier series, but after season 13's negative reception, Bravo opted to start from scratch, recast the series, and reboot RHONY. 2 seasons into the experiment, RHONY has a new set of woes, and it's the same issue every other franchise has experienced. Something's not working, and thus the show is in that infamous Bravo pause. Across the Hudson River, the Real Housewives of New Jersey is facing its own limbo, because Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga refuse to film together, causing a rift within the rest of the cast. The show is currently chemistry testing as Dolores Catania is spending the summer with a new Italian-American friend group, as a new East Coast-centric series is on its heels. Does it mean there's a chance these shows could be kaput? With RHONY failing the reboot test, will other shows be unable to attempt the reboot theory? If it's too hard to completely gut a show, there have been ways to fix the chemistry with old faces. The Real Housewives of Atlanta was facing a massive cast drop before season 16, so they brought back Portia Williams in hopes it would soften the uncertainty of the 3 new cast members. We've clearly learned that the Brit Edie experiment bombed. Right now, the only way to save RHOA is to convince Mana Leaks to come back and shake things up. There's always the opportunity to invite someone who has left and give them less work as a friend of, like Cynthia Bailey on Married Away or Taylor Armstrong, jumping from RHOBH to RHOC. The 19th season of RHOC is trying to bring an old friend back, Gretchen Rossi, back to the fold, but after watching the new trailer, it's hard to wonder if the sell-by date has arrived. When the trailer features a lie detector test to fill the 3-minute-long trailer, is it fluff pleasure for many, a cultural artifact for some, and a chaotic mirror for others? But after more than a decade of opulent dinner parties turned battlegrounds, tear-streaked designer makeup, and friendships shattered by brunch, I'm ready to say what others might only dare whisper during a reunion special: The Real Housewives needs to end. That's right. After endless seasons, spin-offs, and screaming matches over who said what at whose birthday party, the glitzy facade is cracking. What began as a voyeuristic peek into the high society lives of affluent women has slowly devolved into a choreographed pageant of toxicity. The glam is still there, sure, but it's beginning to resemble gilded decay. The sparkle doesn't hide the rot anymore, it just accentuates it. Once upon a time, The Real Housewives was revolutionary. It was messy and dramatic, yes, but it also offered a fascinating lens into the lives of women wielding money, influence, and sometimes surprising wit. The original Orange County cast set the template: aspirational lifestyles tinged with real-life conflict. The show introduced a new form of reality TV, unscripted but tightly produced, giving us a parade of flawed, fascinating, occasionally fabulous women. But what made the series compelling is now its greatest flaw. The formula has calcified. What started as organic conflict has turned into performance. The confrontations feel premeditated, and the authenticity has been drained in favor of meme-worthy soundbites and heavily curated narratives. Every franchise, be it Beverly Hills, Atlanta, New York, or Salt Lake City, now follows the same exhausting cycle. New housewife enters, alliances form, tension brews over a tequila-soaked weekend trip, secrets are weaponized, someone storms off, and all roads lead to the overhyped reunion. Even the introduction of new cities or recasts can't revive the novelty. It's like slapping a fresh coat of lipstick on an exhausted franchise. It might shimmer under the studio lights, but the underlying issues remain. The drama feels increasingly forced, and more disturbingly, often dips into territory that's genuinely harmful. Feuds escalate to lawsuits. Allegations, ranging from fraud to deeply personal betrayals, are casually tossed around like designer handbags. Emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and even accusations of racism have all been plot points. At what point are we just watching people deteriorate for our entertainment? Yes, there are still moments of genuine levity and connection, when you see two women, perhaps diametrically opposed, finding common ground or defending one another with fierce loyalty. It reminds you why people love the show in the first place. But these sparks of sincerity are increasingly rare, buried beneath layers of brand deals, glam squads, and storyline production meetings. More troubling, perhaps, is the real-world effect. The housewives aren't just reality stars anymore. They're celebrities, influencers, even pseudo-political commentators. Their feuds transcend Bravo and echo across social media, podcasts, merchandise, and live tours. Fans pick sides like it's a contact sport, creating toxic echo chambers where nuance goes to die. A cast member's misstep is not a private moment of reflection, but a trending topic, a meme, a Reddit thread. And the women? They're encouraged to keep the drama alive, not just by producers, but by the fans. This feedback loop is vicious. Women on the show are incentivized to be louder, pettier, more combative. The stakes escalate. Relationships crumble on camera, sometimes irrevocably. Real-life consequences, divorces, legal issues, public shaming are not just collateral damage, they're sometimes the point. The line between reality and entertainment is long gone. Some might argue the solution isn't cancellation but evolution. But what would that look like? A kinder, gentler Housewives? A season with no drama, only mutual respect and yoga retreats? It sounds lovely and completely incompatible with the current Bravo business model. Drama drives ratings. As long as there are tables to flip and tears to shed in slow motion, there's money to be made. But just because you can keep a franchise going doesn't mean you should. We've reached a cultural saturation point. There are now housewives from nearly every corner of the country, and even a few international spots. What was once a novel format has become a bloated reality empire, and the wear and tear is evident. Even the most die-hard fans, those who followed every wine-throwing, accusation-hurling episode, are beginning to ask, Are we just watching the same season over and over again with different hairstyles?